Hey there YouTube, this is Ruckman with Crew3 back for another weekly deck tech. I know I said we were going to wait one more week before we start Kaldheim decklist, but I couldn't resist. So grab your sunscreen and Ray-Bans because we're heading down to the regatta for some Mardu Yacht Club. We'll start off with today's yachts, beginning with one copy of the new in Kaldheim Colossal Plow. Working as a backup vehicle for us to crew and about as close to a balanced thrower as we're going to see, Plow can gain us life against aggressive decks and also ramp us up to the revenge half of Revival Revenge. Now we move on to the Crew3 fleet's pride and joy. 4 copies of Consulate Dreadnought. No hearts or looter scooters here, just 18,000 tons of pure 7-11 aggression. Our ideal game starts with slamming one of these turn 1, then following with one of our 7 crewable 2-drops, and proceed to put on the pressure as fast as possible. Speaking of our crew, we'll start with 4 Kroxa Titan of Death's Hunger. Captain Kroxa is our ideal turn 2 play as a follow-up to the Dreadnought. Not only can we use it to crew our yacht with the trigger on the stack, but it can also help us deny our opponent any resources and eventually be escape for a bigger threat. We also have ways to keep bringing Kroxa back for more triggers without that escape, so our opponent's hand is never truly safe. Next, we have 4 copies of First Mate Rotting Regisaur, which as you all know is one of my favorite cards in the Pioneer format. A turn slower than our 7 2-drops, but Regisaur can get in for big damage on its own, and that discard ability helps us slowly build up our yard to escape Kroxa. Also part of today's crew are 3 copies of new in Kaldheim Giant Ox. Ox is the drawback of not being able to get in for damage on its own, but it sure knows its way around a plow, and is surprisingly good behind the wheel of a massive yacht. Our final crewmate, but undeserving of a captain's hat because it can't crew the Dreadnought, are 2 copies of Lures of the Dream Den, to help us get back our Kroxas every turn, or get back a yacht that got pushed out to sea. Our first round of spells all help us squeak extra value out of Captain Kroxa. 2 copies of Supernatural Stamina help us get 2 triggers out of 1 Kroxa, while at the same time can save a boat from being sent to a watery grave. Next, 2 copies of Village Rites allow us to turn a Kroxa or any creature eating a removal spell into 2 additional cards in our hand. Who wants to throw a boat? Because this deck has 2 copies of Fling to try and end the game on the spot by sacking one of our big 6+ power creatures and throwing it at our opponent. We also have 1 copy of Kazul's Fury, giving us another Fling effect that can act as an extra land at a pinch. Finally, since there's no hiding we're a Kroxa deck at our core, we're also playing 4 copies of Claim to Fame and 2 Revival Revenge to help keep Kroxa coming back for more. This second batch of spells gives us an extra oomph in combat, starting with 3 copies of Teamer Battle Rage. Battle Rage is like an RK out of nowhere, turning 7 damage into 14, and also granting trample in case of any pesky blockers. It's safe to say that if we hit off a Battle Rage, the cruise is over for our opponents. Next, we have 2 copies of Built to Smash to once again push our Dreadnought past any blockers, or give any of our creatures a nice little pump in their power. Our final spell is a combat trick staple, Thoughtseize. Okay, it's not a combat trick, but we're playing 4 and I really didn't want to give it its own slide, so here it is. For lands, we're playing 3 Blood Crypt and most importantly 3 Blight Step Pathways. I can't begin to tell you how happy I am to finally finish the Pathway cycle and give Rakdos a better duel in than Foreboding Ruins or Canyon Slough. We also have 4 Godless Shrine, 2 Concealed Courtyard, and 4 Mana Confluence. For utility lands, we're playing 1 Castle Locthwain and 1 Urborg Tomb of Yawgmoth, and rounding out our 20 lands are 1 Snow-Covered Swamp and 1 Snow-Covered Mountain. That's right, I'll reiterate what we've been saying on the podcast since they confirmed Snow's return. Unless you can't live without a specific basic land art, you can take your normal basics, throw them in the trash, and sleeve up Snow basics, because there's just no value lost. On to the sideboard. We have 3 Magma Spray for the aggressive decks, especially those recursive mono-black creatures, 3 Soul Guide Lanterns for other decks worrying about their graveyards, 2 Dreadbore for big mid-range creatures or annoying planeswalkers, 2 Gulligan's Command for any more attrition-based matchups, 2 Chandra Torch of Defiance for any grindy matchups we encounter, 2 Necromancia for combo matchups, and lastly, 1 Agonizing Remorse for any matchups we want a little extra discard. If you're wanting to play a deck built around a forgotten uncommon and have plenty of fun doing it, I highly recommend heading down to the local marina and hiring Captain Kroxa and his crew to take you out on their yacht. This was only the first taste of Kaldheim and Pioneer, and I'm slowly building up a pretty exciting catalog of decks to present, so be sure to keep tuning in weekly. As always, this has been Ruckman with Crew3. Be sure to like, favorite, subscribe, and hit that bell icon to keep up with our weekly deck techs. For more Pioneer content, you can find Crew3 A Pioneer Podcast on all major podcasting platforms, or you can join us over on twitch.tv/Crew3MTG, where I stream several nights a week. Oh, and be sure to join us Wednesday, January 27th at 10 a.m. CST, when myself and the other Crew3 hosts will be taking part in the Kaldheim Early Access event on the Crew3 Twitch. If you'd like to see your name added to this wonderful list at the end of all of our videos, head on over to patreon.com/Crew3MTG to support the podcast and this channel. Talk to y'all next week. Bye!